about to go as the green flag at the back of the grid waves.
And is it going to be the white or the green Clio, Ben Davis or Pete Bennett into Old Hall first? The red lights go out. Everybody struggles for grip in this very, very unpleasant wet, but it is undoubtedly Ben Davis who makes the line into Old Hall first. Just moves over a bit to his left to make the most of that corner, but it's Ben Davis from Pete Bennett. Everybody gets round. Yes, just hesitate before I say that, but everybody gets round Old Hall.
Yeah, you said that before everyone had got round. But it was a very tentative, understandably tentative first corner there, and I'm glad to see that everybody was sensible, had their sensible heads on. There was a little bit of running out wide at the exit of Old Hall, but that's understandable. But it was definitely the property of Ben Davis there as he got that car ahead. He had the ideal line into Old Hall, and everybody just tippy-toed through there. Very, very wet conditions. And of course, behind the leading cars, your visibility is absolutely zero, because even with your wipers on full, you've got massive amount of spray being thrown up on this very wet track now at Oulton Park. And so visibility down the field, that sort of tends to pan the field out somewhat as people sort of find their own space, with the field already towards the Shell Oil's hairpin and past the island bend, that very, very fast left-hander.
But it was interesting to see how the cars moved very slowly off the line, whether that was because they were bogged down or whether they were just taking it very easy and not getting too much in the way of wheel spin while they did it. But it was not a blistering start, but everybody got away, and to everybody's credit, they got away on the lap very, very effectively. So cars now just waiting for them to come back to us on this first race of the day, the MSV Trackday Championship, a 45-minute race with one mandatory pit stop. So we'll see those cars coming back into our sight very shortly, and we fully expect that to be Ben Davis at the front of the field as they come in now. And yes, Davis has actually pushed out quite a strong lead as the 121 car crosses the line in front of the 144 Phil Bennett, and then the 93 Ford behind him. A wonderful array of all sorts of hot hatches behind the number 34 Golf going down the inside there, hard on the brakes underneath the Honda, another side by side back down through cascades.
Got an off ball.
Little
the car sliding very wide off on the grass on the outside of Old Hall. It's I can't make that car out actually, but it's a white with a blue livery. He's regained the track. I'm not sure if that was a Seat. I may be completely wrong, but he's regained the track. He came onto the track and he's underway. He didn't hit anything. He just had a very, very sideways moment on the runoff on the outside of Old Hall. So it'll be squeaky trousers time for him next time by. But as the field came through to complete the first of the many laps that we will complete in the 45-minute window of this race, we've got a car into the pits, which we'll find out exactly what the problem is with that in a moment. But it's Davis leading by just over a second from Bennett in the 144. Then we've got the number 93, and that is the Big Kids Racing Ford Fiesta, who came through in third. He's about 3 seconds behind, 1.2 seconds behind, so just hanging on to the tail of the second place car. Then we've got a 3-second gap to Harrison in the number 146, which is the Force Motorsport Renault player in fourth. We've got a caller into the pits. It's the number 57, Paul, and that is the number 57 is the LW Racing Gary Littlewood Ford Fiesta. Not sure what the issue there, nothing apparent.
It's always slightly concerning when a car pulls into the pits and nothing much happens. The trolley jack is now coming out, and that looks like a tyre change.
Might be a puncture.
Yeah,
might be a puncture.
But trolley jack under the back, and somebody with an air gun.
So the leaders are already with us. Ben Davis crosses the line to complete 2 laps and extends that lead ever so slightly. It remains pretty much the same between second and third. Bennett it is in the number 144. That's the Foz Motorsport Renault Clio in second. Then we've got the 93 of the Big Kids Racing Ford Fiesta. Gap between them two just on the second mark there, almost together. Car 146 in fourth place is the Foz Motorsport Clio of Harrison. Then we've got the number 26 of Ronan Quinn. That's a Ford Fiesta. Sixth place through for the second time is car 69. That's the White Knight Racing of David Slater, the Honda Civic Type R. Then we've got the number 116 of G&M Motorsport, Sam Gay in the Honda Civic. And then we have the number 53 of Team Norfolk. That's the Kevin Sterling Renault Clio coming through in 8th. Triple Eight, the Honda Integra of Howes Roberts, comes through in 9th. And then car 113 rounds off the top 10. That's Team Darkside, the Seat Ibiza of Sam Parker.
Just keep an eye on the number 93 car of Kester Cook, which is currently in third place. That's looking very racy. He actually only started down in fifth. He's already up to third, and that he's doing some good times, looking to put some pressure on Pete Bennett in second place. So they're now going down through Knickerbrook and on our way back to us, but we're going to keep an eye on that position, because I think that right now we're seeing Ben Davis putting a strong stamp on this race. The number 57 car, which came into the pits, is still there and looking slightly forlorn with its near side rear end jacked up, but nothing much happening. Another new tyre is coming out, I think, but I don't think there's a huge amount of rush for that car.
I think that's maybe more than that, because they're already 2 laps down now, Paul, as the leaders are already through Lodge. Over D Elite comes Ben Davis. He's got, the gap was 2.3 seconds. It's got to be bigger between first and second. Bennett crosses the line now. It's gone out to 4 seconds. However, the gap between second and third, like you said, the number 93 in third place there of Cook, he's maintaining that gap, isn't he? He's hanging on to the rear end of the number 144 in second, Pete Bennett in the Renault Clio. But it's Ben Davis who's, I'm not going to say dominate at this stage, but he is perhaps
in charge,
making things very, very difficult for anyone to even get on terms with him and have a challenge. Rest of the field stringing out now, as we've got the B-class car. I'm not even going to get into the classes, Paul, because we haven't got any information in front of us.
But just keep an eye open for the battle for 9th and 10th between 888 and 113. That's the Honda Integra and the 113 car of Scott Parkin, which is the Seat Ibiza. They're having a lovely little dice between the two of them, and that's for 9th and 10th place, but nonetheless they're going very strongly at that. The 888 car started in 7th, so he's dropped back a place or two, but nonetheless I think all of these drivers are driving on a much wetter track than they qualified in, and that I think everybody will have had the conversation, which is just go out there and just get a feel for the track before you start any hysterics with this, and that we're now something like 11 minutes into this race, so that everybody will understand that. We have a safety car, Joe.
Yeah, because we've got a car off, I know, on the outside of Old Hall. Not sure if he's made contact, but he certainly stranded the car, beached the car just off the track, so he's in a pretty unsafe position there. And wipers are going. Looks like he might be getting under his weight. Looks like a Renault Clio from this position, but we have gone to a safety car, or have we gone to a virtual safety car? Let's have a look. It's got a safety car on the timing screens, and the safety car has indeed been deployed. The Renault Clio has cleared.
Yes, I've just poked my head out of the door at the back of the commentary box, and it doesn't look as if he'd actually made contact with anything.
Right,
I think he's just in an unsafe position. But if they've managed to get that car restarted, then clearly we'll see the safety car back in very soon.
It was in a very, very precarious place though, just off the track with its nose on the exit curbing, and it would have taken just a slight error, not even a slight error of judgment, for the cars at racing speed to come through Old Hall and just maybe put a wheel off. It would have made contact with that stranded Renault Clio, so a good call there from the race officials, putting us under safety car. If anything, Paul, it Ben Davis, who was leading by just under 5 seconds as we crossed the line, he's going to lose that now, and we're going to have effectively a boxed restart, single file restart behind the safety car when the safety car comes in. So we're just gathering up the field now. The field heading up onto Hilltop and heading down towards the Hislop chicane, which we are using according to our track map. Not in the programme. The programme says something else, but we're using the Hislop chicane. 57 is back out. Not quite sure what the issue was there, but the number 57 of Littlewood is back out and will rejoin the tail of the field.
I think when you talk about the Hislop chicane, that one of the things is that both clubs and circuit owners don't have the option of deciding which configuration they will use. They can't say, oh, we'll just drop this chicane out, because each individual circuit is licensed with what used to be the MSA, and that they are licensed specifically for a particular layout. So you can't say, oh, well, hang on, no, I think because these are Ford cars and they're not going very quickly, we won't do the chicane. But if Oulton Park is not registered without a chicane, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So I think, that's going to be an answer to that one. Ben Davis, I think, will be spitting feathers as he sits round behind this safety car.
The car that did have the off at Old Hall was the number 66. Richard Clark is the Finsport Premier Racing Renault Clio. That looked like he had a relatively harmless spin, but because he was a little stranded just off track, we've deployed the safety car, and
this is interesting.
That's the number 66.
That's the car that went
That's
off.
the culprit. He's going to chase round and try and get onto the tail of the field. We are just waiting for the safety car to come into view. Everything on the track map, of course, is just beginning to update, and hopefully we'll have the number 66 of what's the driver's name again? It was Richard Clark. Yeah, Richard Clark now making his way around. He's already towards the Shell Oils hairpin, and the field now just being nicely gathered up by our safety car. So we have got 31 minutes, just on 32 minutes actually, remaining of this race. So we're about a third distance, and the safety car is in. So the safety car, we are back under racing conditions almost immediately, and it's Ben Davis with almost no lead whatsoever after accruing almost a 5-second gap, where before that safety car the field has now closed right up, and we are back underway. Just look at the visibility there, Paul, as we come over Deer Leap.
Yeah, it's very, very minimal, and the further back you are, of course, the worse that gets. But Ben Davis at the front will be very keen to do it all again. He has to do it all again. He has proved that it's all there. He can build that 5-second gap in less than 10 minutes of racing, and that he'll be keen to do that again, to put himself out of the way of anything else that's going on, because in this kind of weather, which brings, as you said, Joe, that degree of unpredictability, you really want to be racing on your own as much as you possibly can, so that you don't get somebody steaming up the inside of you with all four wheels locked up or something like that. So Ben Davis very keen to do that, I think, and Pete Bennett will also be keen to try and stay with him as much as he possibly can. Cars now are out heading their way up towards the Shell Oils hairpin, and they'll be there in the next few seconds, and then start the long dash back towards us at the start-finish line. The the 66 car, making his way to do as quickly as he can back onto the tail of the field.
And he hasn't lost as much track time as he perhaps could have. He is still on the lead lap as he goes into Cascades, the field just coming out of the Shell Oils hairpin. Not sure whether the track map is sped up. I think that's, you know what, that map is emulating behind the safety car from the previous lap. So
right.
that's what it does. It kind of preempts and it takes the data from the previous lap, which is behind the safety car. So
that's why everybody's going
bunched together. Yes, they haven't. The leader, I think, is he is Ben Davis already into Lodge. Just see him through the trees there. He'll pop up into our view out of Deer Leap and will cross the line to complete his 6th lap. And he puts in the fastest lap of the race so far, 2 minutes 16.4. So Davis is finding time out there. We've got a change of 3rd place. Car 144 is now through into 2nd place, and that's the Force Motorsport Renault Clio of Bennett. Then into 3rd place has gone the 116, the G&M Motorsport Honda Civic of Sam Gate, and into 4th place has gone the number 146 of Harrison. That's the Simon Harrison car, and then 93 has dropped to 5th for some reason, Paul. So the 93 of Kester Cook, Big Kids Racing Ford Fiesta, down to 3rd place, and a couple of pit visitors. We've got a few penalties being dished out. Car 34 has been given a 10-second penalty for being out of position at the start, and car 69 has been given a 10-second penalty for a jump start.
Okay, now with both of those, they probably would have served those a couple of laps ago, but clearly they couldn't bring those out when the safety car was out, because that would not be the best way of doing it. So that those will now be in, and a 10-second penalty for each of those cars, number 34 and number 69. The Clio with the blue stripes down the bonnet comes in.
We've also got that's the 66. All that had the spin, I think.
Yes.
Into the pits has come the number 75 Fiesta of that's down to 20 seconds. First of the obligatory pit stops we're seeing, and there's a car further up just coming to the final few seconds of its, and that's the 93. That's why the car has dropped down the order. He didn't so much drop down the order as he came in the pits. So the number 93 of Cook, who was in 3rd place, has now just left the pits. Kester Cook just leaving the pits ahead of the leader. So I'm wondering if that's a canny bit of strategy coming into play there, and he stayed ahead of the leader, so that's ideal.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the obligatory pit stop time is. Do we have any rigs?
No, I haven't got rigs for this one. The interesting thing is that we've already seen Ben Davis trying to dominate this race, and that now he's got somebody throwing spray in his face, which he probably didn't need. Yeah, I think weather is not improving in any shape or form, so everybody is very much into wet mode generally.
Yeah, we've got lots of spray. Paul White is doing as best a job that they can in the circumstances.
Yeah, but it's still Ben Davis from Ben Davis from Pete Bennett. But interestingly, and I think we ought to keep an eye on that 116 car, because Sam Gay in that car, he started in 11th and he's up to 3rd. That currently he's not on a par with the Davis car in the lead, which is just done a 2:16 dead, and that the Gay and Tester car 116 is doing 2:16.8, but that is his best is 2:16.8, but that is nearly a second faster than the car in front of him. The Pete Bennett 144. So I think we have a battle on our hands here with for second place between 144 and the car currently in third place, the 116 car. Let's keep an eye open on that when they come back towards us.
And I'm also very interested to see where the 93 pans out after the pit stop cycles, after we've cycled through the pit stops. The number 93 of Kester Cook, which was in third place before he pitted. There he is, still ahead of the leader and staying on the lead lap. And
safety car
we've
again.
got another safety car. Let me see who has gone missing. And everybody behind the leader choosing to, pretty much a lot of the runners choosing to pit when the safety car has come out. They've timed that perfectly.
But Joe, the leader has not.
The leader has not, and neither did Bennett in second or the number 116 in third, which is the G&M Motorsport Honda Civic. Sam Gay, Colin Tester down to drive that car. Number 143 has pitted it and is resumed. So we're going to get a bit of a unrepresentative timing screen, Paul.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it, because this just throws a curved ball into everybody's race that we didn't see the leader or any of the first three cars come into the pits. Was that a mistake?
The Triple Eight stayed out as well. That's the Honda Integra in seventh, as did the number 2 of Clark and Langley. They're in 10th, or they were in 10th as they crossed the line, but they stayed out as well. That's the Mini Cooper S. I'm showing the 121 and the 144 staying out, but the 116 in third has pitted. The Honda Civic is in the pits. So in the pits from third, now this might be a canny move because he is going to serve his pit stop under full course caution. Under a safety car, I should say. Full course caution, where am I?
Well, no, that was Daytona. That was last month.
Oh, and the 116 is going to be trapped in there if the
yes.
Ford Puma of the number 68 of Super Tune Motorsport of Matt Wright. Oh, he's got out of the way. The 116 about to resume. He's waiting to get the wave off. He's got the thumbs up. And if he's got the thumbs up, he needs to go. He needs to go. Yeah, go on, mate. Stop having a chat and get out there. Because you could end up...
Wait.
You could end up in the lead of this race. Where's he gone?
Oh! That was very close in pit lane.
Yeah.
The course car coming down the pit lane, and the number 26 Ford pulled out, and there was probably a couple of inches between the two of them as they did that. So that was nearly very nasty. But that does mean, of course, that we have a course car out on track right now. Which means that this safety car is going to go on for a while.
Yeah, and we're at half distance, Paul. We have just ticked by half distance, and we are waiting for the field to come by. They're still, as most of the runners that were behind the two leaders, Davis and Bennett, have served their pit stops. Now, the thing is, we might get the leaders being able to serve their pit stops again under safety car. If this safety car continues, it's again, you know what, any kind of motor race that is beyond a 10-lap sprint and has pit stops, just throws up any kind of anomaly, doesn't it? It's really, that's what makes it so interesting.
So we are seeing every good bit of endurance racing, and okay, it's only a 45-minute race, but it's still endurance racing coming to life here. That we have the car under we have the race under a safety car, but that's neither here nor there in some ways, because we've got. Are we going to see those front runners, the 121, the 144, and 116, first three cars? Are they going to come into the pits this lap? Because
I think they've got to. I think they've got to.
I think it would be a big mistake if they didn't.
Yeah.
The cars now, the safety car coming up through Deer Leap, controlling the field very effectively.
The leader hasn't. The leader hasn't.
He
hasn't. No, the car behind the safety car is the number 93. Now that car is almost a lap down. Davis has stayed out, and Davis has stayed out behind the... Now, we're showing the 144 ahead. That can't be right. The 144 is not to be ahead. No, that's just a strange thing that's happened to the... the 144 has come in the pits.
Crossed the timing beam.
Yeah, he's crossed the timing beam ahead as he came in the pits.
Yeah, because he would have been released from behind the safety car and maybe just sped up a bit.
Now, Ben Davis, Paul, has stayed out.
That's brave or it's a mistake, one of the two.
I'm not really sure how these races progress, but he's going to have to... If he pits and we go green, he is going to lose the lead.
Yes.
He is going to lose the lead.
Yeah.
So
I'm very surprised he didn't pit that lap. There was no reason not to. And that if that's the case...
The Integra's in as well.
Yep.
So the cars behind Davis in the lead are in the pits. So the only car that hasn't pit stopped is the leader, car 121, and also the number 34, which is down in 26th. So that's quite out of contention. It might come round and show himself, but however, hang on, no, he's 2 laps down, so he's not going to show anything.
Right. So what we have here is that even if the erstwhile leader Ben Davis comes in this lap, then the cars that were in second and third will be out before he will, so therefore he will join the back of the train behind them.
And those cars have already come round and have joined the back of the train, so when he comes in, they'll go by and into the lead while he sits there.
He will go back, and he has to go behind the cars that were second and third. Now, whether that is in itself a plan, who knows? Because that car, you used the term dominating, and it was dominating earlier on. But I don't know just how long this safety car is going to go.
Well, we're already... The clock still ticks, of course, behind the safety car, so we stopped the clock. So we are running short of race time. We're down to under 18 minutes of this race, so 60% of this race has taken place, and we are showing the number 121 Davis car. 121 is the Ben Davis car in the lead at the moment, but we still have to wait because we've cycled through a lot of pit stops. And until we get the first lap by under green, we're going to get an idea of where the rest of the field is shaping up, because we've got cars coming into the pits, cars staying out, so tripping the timing beam at odd times. So we're not really up to speed with regards to where everyone is. There'll be slight changes and variations. It is. Safety car staying out then, and Ben Davis, the leader, into the pits.
At last. So this is going to be a point of interest in itself as to, I mean, obviously it's a fixed length pit stop anyway, so you can't do a demon pit stop which gets you gets you an advantage. You're stuck with what you have, and that I can't see that he will be out anywhere other than at the back of this train once he's served his pit stop window. So the cars now taking a very gentle, relatively gentle line down behind the safety car. They're going down through cascades,
and there's lots of cars, Paul, on the same lap. as Davis has tripped the timing beam to complete 10 laps. He would have gone away with it if he was a lap ahead, but he hasn't. He's got cars down to 21st on the same lap, so he will come out on the back of that train.
He's got 21 places to do then.
Yeah.
Because if they've all stopped, which I think they all have, he's given himself a huge job to do.
And the pit window closed right on the 15 minutes to go, which was about 15 seconds ago. He was in
within that.
Yeah, he was right on the edge of that.
But we still run here under the safety car with now just under 15 minutes to go, as Joe Bradley has just said, and that the cars circulating as they have been for the last few minutes behind the safety car, as Ben Davis is now back onto the racetrack, having served his time. Now he is going to have to pedal fairly hard just to be able to catch up even the back of this train. The safety car itself is coming down into Lodge Corner now as Ben Davis goes into Cascades. So that's well over half a lap that he is currently behind.
Now, if anyone has been disadvantaged by this safety car, it's the number 93 of Kester Cook, the Ford Fiesta, big kids racing Ford Fiesta, is just ahead of the leader. It's the first car in the train, and he will remain just ahead of the leader, almost a lap down, and he's not going to be able to better than that unless we get a wave around, and we've had the wave around right now. So there is the 93 getting the wave around. He'll come around onto the tail of the number 121 Davis car.
Right, okay, so there's a battle for its own sake between those two.
They were the early leaders, remember, in the top three.
But besides that, the rest of the field now into Lodge. Yes, some various waves around happening. The 143 car has been waved through, as has the 66 and the 75.
Not sure you're allowed to overtake though. Under yellow.
You are not allowed to overtake.
No, and the 66 has just overtaken under the yellow.
Yeah. Not that we're allowed to have a view, just mentioned.
No, that's just an observation.
Yeah. But no, it's still under yellow flags, and the safety car is over and above the yellow flags. So yes, you are absolutely right. But this, we only have 12 minutes in this race left to run, and we're going to have to see just where this takes us.
The safety car is just coming through Lodge now, and I think the safety car lights are out. They are. The safety car is in, so we're about to go racing, and we will have a new race leader. It is the Honda Civic of Kester and Gate who leads at the restart. We are green flag racing, and that was purely on the tactics of getting into the pits when the safety car came out.
Yeah, because they were the very first batch into the pits.
Early leader Ben Davis coming through their pole in 21st spot.
21st, wow. So
which is where I said he would pop out.
Yep, that's exactly where he said he'd pop out. And that he's got a huge amount to do. That even at this stage, he's got 11 minutes left to run, and a huge amount to do. And you have to say that was the pit stop strategy which has put him where he is now. But the 93 car, which was the first to benefit from the wave through,
comes through in 22nd. He's a good 30 seconds behind Ben Davis though, down in 21st, 22nd. The leader though is the number 116 as they passed us that time by. It's the J&M Motorsport Honda Civic, from the number 113, the Team Darkside Sea at the Beatha of Scott Parkin came through in second. Then we had the 26 of Ronan Quinn racing. Ronan Quinn in the Ford Fiesta was third. Car 146 was one of the early top three. That car's now, that's the Foz Motorsport Renault Clio, and that car down in fourth place now, as we are seeing cars come through who did indeed get the wave round, and he did give him that position back.
He did.
The 66 and the 75, and so all is good. Under 10 minutes left, and we await the arrival of the leading pack. Will it be the Honda Civic that still leads this race? He led at the green flag, but he was under quite a bit of pressure from the Team Darkside Sea at the Beatha, and they're just appearing now at Lodge, and looks like the Honda Civic leads as they go out of our sight in the dip at Dealey. Up and over the brow, it's the Honda Civic that leads, yes, and there is the Seat in second, and that's a battle to the fourth. 146 though, that's the Clio, has moved up, and that's the number 146 of Simon Harrison. He's moved up into third place now, and the Foz Motorsport Clio looks very racy indeed, and it looks as though he might even be in a position to challenge Parkin in the Seat for third. Where is the early leader? Just scything, trying to scythe through the field. Now that's a very tall task indeed for Ben Davis, who is up into 16th place in one lap. He's moved up from 21st to 16th, so he is making progress, but with, Paul, 8.5 minutes left, that's a pretty big ask, isn't it, to get him back on terms?
It is, and whether he can do that, because obviously the trouble is that when you're in the lead, you can go out and do some pretty competitive times, you can do fastest laps, you can do everything else. When you're scything through traffic, it's something different again. And
in these conditions as well.
Yeah, in these conditions, that you can't just go barreling down the inside of somebody into Old Hall, because there may not be any grip there at all.
And the guy that you're trying to get down the inside of may not be in full control of his car. So it's going to be a very, very tentative progress that he's making.
Yeah, so Ben Davis, the number 121 car, currently in 16th place, and that he's given himself an absolute load of stuff to do. But cars, the leaders will now be working their way round. They're coming down through this little chicane, and will be coming back down towards us.
They're having a great battle. Cars are just coming through there. 143. 66 has dropped away from the 75, and he's going to be challenged. So the 56 is down in. He's down 66. Sorry, he's down 24th, and he's challenging the 143 in 23rd.
Yeah.
So battle for 23rd, 24th. They're having a ball.
He was fighting with the 75 car, but he's managed to move away from that.
Here are the leaders, Paul, with us once again through Lodge. It looks indeed to me like it's the Honda Civic that still leads. Gain Tester still leading. The Seat there just hanging on to the back of that car, and then the Simon Harrison Renault Clio car 146 kind of taking a watching brief. He hasn't made any kind of impact to that second place. And then behind them in fourth place is the number 69 White Knight Racing Honda Civic of David Slater. In fifth place is the number 26 Ronan Quinn, and that's Ronan Quinn in the Ford Fiesta. That was in fifth place. In sixth place is car 53 Team Norfolk Renault Clio of Kevin Sterling. Then in seventh we've got the Honeybone car 44. That's the Apple Car Centre of Jordan Honeybone. He's in seventh place. Eighth place is the number 144 Foz Motorsport of Pete Bennett. He was up there at the early part of this race. Now down in eighth. The Starkey and Burnham number 25 is in ninth place. Is that number 25? Yes, it is. Not on our sheets. Car 73, I should say, is in 10th place, and that's the Neil House Renault Clio 172. We'd say 172 in the top 10.
It's worth looking at the lap times. We have just under 6 minutes to go, and that the number 116, our leader, the Gay and Tester car, did a 2 minutes 18.5 on that previous lap, which is significantly good, but 2:18.2 for the 113 in second place. So not a huge amount of difference, but enough, bearing in mind they are only half a second apart. So that's the winner of this race is far from decided now, with just 5 minutes of the race left to run, and it could go either way between the 116 and the 113 in first or second place. That Seat looking very, very racy in second position, the 113 car.
And the pole position car of Ben Davis, early leader, up to 14th, so another 2 cars he's taken the scalp of. And I just noticed there the 888 Honda Integra also behind Ben Davis now, the House Roberts car, as the leaders come through. No change at the front then.
Yes, there is.
Isn't there? Oh, the 146 is up to new second, yeah.
New second place, that 146 up to second. And significantly up to second, I have to say, that the Seat of Parkett, the 113 car, was a good 10 cars lengths behind Harrison in the 146 car in second place. So he went from being half a second behind the leader, the 116, to being a total of 2.4 seconds behind the leader just on that one lap. So that says to me that either they fell over some back markers or he had a bit of an agricultural moment somewhere out on the track.
So yeah, so it was indeed a change for second place, so second podium position. The gap between first and second then was indeed 1.4 seconds at the line last time by. And just looking at the progress of Ben Davis, he's up to 11th, so another 3 cars he moves ahead of, another 2 cars he's moved from 14th to 11th. He's got 26 seconds though to make up to the leader, the Honda Civic, and with under 3.5 minutes remaining, I doubt Ben Davis is going to do it. The race though, Paul, is for the lead, with Simon Harrison in the Clio putting in his fastest race lap of the race so far, 2:17.8, chasing down and passing the Seat of Parkin, car 113. He's now chasing down that Honda Civic of Gate and Tester. Not sure which of those drivers are in that number 116, whether or not it is Sam Gate or Colin Tester. We'll have to wait and see.
And Pete Bennett, who we saw starring earlier on in the 144 car, he is putting in some stellar times as well, at 2:16.3, which is the fastest of anybody out there currently in these particular weather conditions. So leader comes towards us and established a nice lead over the 146. There's enough of a gap between them that they don't have to worry too much. Third place car, I'm not sure, Joe, whether he's having a few problems, because he's dropped away from the first 2 quite considerably.
And then the 4th place car of Slater, car 69, it had a bit of a grassy excursion now on the outside of Old Hall. There is Ben Davis coming through in 9th place. He is absolutely siding through this field. The gap is down to 26 seconds. Again, still a bit of a mountain to climb. He's got a 10-second gap now before he can take any more places. And with time running out, we've possibly got a checkered flag, next time by. Or they may even give us an extra lap. Another lap, I should say, because the clock is on 1.5 minutes, and we went through with about 2.5 minutes on the clock. We're doing 2:16s at the front of the field, 2:17. Another fastest lap of the race, personal best from Simon Harrison in the number 146 Clio, 2:17.080.
He's turned out to be our challenger for this event. Side by side across the start-finish line, we have the 27 and the 68. That's an all-Ford battle, the Focus and the Puma.
And the fastest lap of the race that time by goes to the Foz Motorsport Renault Clio of Pete Bennett, car 144. He's down in 6th place. He's gaining ground as well. So both those Foz Motorsports Clios making their way back up through the field after losing out massively in that safety car period. He's done a 2:15.8, was the fastest lap of this race in the field so far. 30 seconds are on the clock, Paul. I think we could well see a checkered flag.
I think we
next
could.
time
And,
by.
interesting that both of those Foz Motorsport cars suffered from the safety car period through not coming in perhaps at the right time, but can't see any checkered flag being readied yet, but we should be now because we're down to...
There's the leader through.
Yep, so we're going to get another lap.
We've got a change of lead, in fact. We've got the number 146 Clio has gone through.
On what's going to turn out to be the last lap of the race.
Yeah, so he gets that lead. Simon Harrison, he started third, and that is a bit of a consolation for the Foz Motorsport boys after dominating qualifying and then dominating the early part of the race in the form of Ben Davis, falling foul of the safety car. We've then got Simon Harrison on great form there, another personal best lap time there, just shaving a few hundredths off once again, 2 minutes 17.014. We've got a new fastest lap from Ben Davis. He's gone 2:15.013. He's up to 9th, and he is now 12 seconds. Is he 12 seconds? No, he's not. He's 6.97, 7 seconds to make up. So he's taken chunks of time out of the car ahead of him, which is the Jordan Honeybone Clio, car 44. And
what a turn up for the books at the front of this field with the 146 Harrison car taking the lead as they cross the line on that last lap from the Gay and Tester 116, who's been at the front of this field for probably half of the race, but everybody's heart goes out, of course, to Ben Davis, who lost out because of the safety car period, and that he was walking away with this when that happened, but he currently sits down in 9th place.
so we await the number 146, the Foz Motorsport Clio of Simon Harrison. He came by in the lead and is now on the final lap of this MSV Trophy Trackday Championship.
We're coming
race.
down into Lodge any second now.
The car finishing the race in the pits, and there he is taking the checkered flag. Then Simon Harrison takes the win, and the number 143 is a lapped car. So in second place will be the Honda Civic of Sam Gay and Colin Tester. Change for third as the number 113 of Parkin, Scott Parkin, has fallen back to 5th. So a change for third in the form of the 69 White Knight Racing Honda Civic coming through in third. And then we had the challenging 144, the Foz Motorsport Renault Clio of Pete Bennett will come through in 4th. Parkin will be 5th. Car 26, Ronan Quinn, the Ford Fiesta, is in 6th. Then we've got the number 53 of Team Norfolk, Kevin Sterling, in the Renault Clio will be 7th. Jordan Honeybone does indeed come in 8th in the number 44, and he was right on his tail, just 2 seconds before we see Ben Davis coming through finally in 9th in the number 121. Rounding off the top 10 though is the number 2 Norfolk cars, Neil Clark and Andy Langley in the Mini Cooper. So Paul, I'll head down. We're going to head down to the podium.
Right, and obviously we saw some very dramatic stuff there. The Seat that was looking very racy earlier on was usurped on that last lap, which I think there must have been a problem. There must have been something happening there, because certainly the 113 car was not what it was not the animal it had been earlier on, and that Scott Parkin was hobbled one way or another, because he lost three places in 2 laps. So there must have been something to know there. But our winner is the number 146, Simon Harrison, in the Renault Clio, and it's great to see a Clio Cup car at the front of this. The 116 car was in second place. Now he started way down in 11th place on the grid. And that was Sam Gay at the wheel doing that bit. Started in 11th place. It says something about the nature of the race that we've just watched, that somebody can start in 11th and lead a large part of the race, but then also finish in 2nd place. 3rd place will be the number 90, the number 69 car of David Slater in the Honda Civic Type R, and that will be our top 3. A big conundrum there, but Joe Bradley will be down on the podium very shortly, and that we'll be talking to our drivers once they've taken their crash helmets off and they're back in the car. Joe, can you hear me?